Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. It is September 13th, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Burning, may we please have the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Burning?
Present.
Ms. McFarland?
Present.
Mr. Honolaw?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
And next, would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first thing that we have on our agenda this evening is approval of minutes of a public hearing and regular meeting on August the 9th, 2016, a special meeting on August the 12th, 2016, and a regular work session on August 23rd, 2016. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as drafted?
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, Mr. Burning, do we have a fiscal officer's report?
Yes, Mr. Honolaw. For the month ending 8/31/2016, the township's expenditures were $1,499,301.08, and the receipts were $654,004.03. The ending cash balance of $17,161,022.26 includes obligations for expenditures, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investments. What I request is a motion to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, updated current revenues, and reports for the period ending 8/31/2016. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And just to let everyone know, financial reports are available for viewing at the administrative offices weekdays during regular business hours or on our website if anybody wants to navigate that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burning. Next, moving on to departmental action and discussion items. Mr. Hennenkamp, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do, Mr. Honolaw. Actually just one item, and that is to remind the board, we do have 4 resolutions on the agenda tonight. There are resolutions 85 through 88, 2016. All of these resolutions have to do with skip applications that we are recommending that the board make. And just by way of a little background, as the board may recall, we had the work session back on the 23rd of August, and at that meeting, staff did make recommendations that we submit 4 different skip applications for road improvement projects for this year's funding cycle, which is actually round 31. 2 of the projects are grant projects where we would be seeking 50% of the project's cost through grant money. They are the Lakeview Park project, which includes 7 different streets in that particular neighborhood, and then also the Ranch Hill Estates projects, and there are 3 streets included there. The other 2 projects, we will be making application for loan money, where we would receive an interest-free loan over the life of the project, which in both of these cases would be approximately 8-year loans, I think we are, for these 2. And as I mentioned, they'd be interest-free. Lakeshore Estates is one of the neighborhoods for that. That includes 7 streets, and then the Gulfview neighborhood up off of Mill, and there are 4 different streets back in that area. So all total, there's about 6 or 7 miles of road that would be covered. This includes includes about 21 streets. 9 of those 21 streets represent the worst streets that we have by our rating index in the township, and it represents about just a little over $2 million, almost $2.2 million worth of capital improvement projects. Approximately, the township would be responsible for a little bit more, right around half of that, just a little slightly less than half of that project cost based on the way we're setting up the funding. I would remind the board that in each of these 4 projects, we have recommended the utilization of assessment as some portion of the project cost, where the homeowners would be assessed a specific amount. Again, this varies depending on the type of project, but it equals roughly about 1.5 mils of taxation, about the same as what 1.5 mils would be. And this is, of course, consistent with what was recommended by the neighborhood master plan that was adopted by the board back in May. Again, why these 4 projects have been selected, generally when Mike sits down and we sit down as staff to review them, we're always trying to pick the projects where we think that's going to score the highest on the SCIP application process. Condition clearly is one of the biggest criteria, but there are other factors involved as well, and we try to look at. So, for instance, on the Lakeview Park project, one of the bigger factors there is that is actually going to be a joint project with the county engineer. And the county will be taking care of the portion of the project for Winton Road. That is actually a county road. This is from McKelvey up to the Green Hills Corporation line. And Hamilton County will actually make that their #1 project. So we don't then have to use our #1 project designation, which affects the points that you can get in this process pretty dramatically on that particular project. So that's why that neighborhood was selected. On the Ranch Hill Estates, it's pretty easy. Those 3 streets that we're recommending are 1, 2, and 3 in terms of our worst rated streets. So that one was pretty easy, and that's why that project. The other 2 projects that we're going for from a loan standpoint are quite the opposite. They're not streets that are our worst condition streets. They are streets that are of a condition right now that if we take some intermediate step at this point, we can save a great deal of money by doing it now with that step. And that's why 50% of that project cost will actually be borne by the homeowners through the assessment process. We did have 4 different meetings with each of the neighborhood groups to explain this assessment process, to explain what we were recommending. And I know, Joe, you were at 2 or 3 of them. I was at 2 of them. Mike, I know you were at all of them. And Gwen, you were at 2 with me. I think overall we probably had, I would say, close to 95, 96% of the people that attended those meetings were in favor. There was very, very little opposition to it. Everybody liked the concept and wanted to move forward with it. So really, that's just an overview of what those 4 resolutions entail later, a little bit later here on the agenda.
All right, thank you, Mike. No, the meetings I was at, it was unanimous, the people that were there saying they were in favor of doing it. I think it's a creative way. We're going to get a lot more of our streets fixed in a shorter period of time. And it was just, people were very happy to see that we've come up with this, and we'll see how it goes. And a lot of it's going to depend on how we can get get some SCIP loans and funding, but I think it's a good way we're going to be able to move forward.
The meetings I was at, Joe, it was the same. I mean, it was amazing. First of all, I was impressed and amazed regarding the attendance, and I also was impressed with the questions that were asked, just for validation and just to make sure that everyone was understood, clearly understood, and also looked at the opportunities, that this could provide. And we all know that these SCIP applications are just becoming very, very, very competitive. So we have to be proactive and look at steps that we can take to continue to improve our township and our roads, period, because there's no guarantee that we're always going to be able to beat out some of our competitors. So I think it's a great way to moving forward.
Well, and I will do, the other thing I'll say is that at the meetings I was at, Chris and Mike were going through a PowerPoint, and that really, as the people listened to that, they got to see the big picture, and that made it easy to explain the concept to them.
And they knew their roads were going to get done.
Yep, that's the main thing. You say, I'm for this, my road's going to get done this year or next year, and so it's what's good. But okay.
Anyway, the next step in that is after the resolutions, and Mike will submit the projects, and we should have a pretty good idea by end of November, early December.
Great.
how we rate net projects. We know it's like every year it's going to be very competitive, but I think it's going to be a lot more competitive on the loan side than it's been in the past. But we got good applications, and we'll just see how that shakes out.
Okay, very good.
The only other sort of action item I just want to make note of is I just want to call the board's attention to Resolution 84-216. This is kind of an unusual resolution, so I just want to maybe note exactly what that is. This is a request by the Ohio Department of Transportation. They are going through a process where they are designating a series of corridors throughout Ohio as state bicycle routes. One of those routes that they are designating does come into the township. It is actually, the only portion of the township it is on will actually be a portion of it will go through Winton Woods Park, and then another portion of the same route will then continue on to Lake Ridge and then down through Woodlawn and off further to the east. So it doesn't affect any township property. It doesn't affect any township even right-of-way, because the Winton Woods being a county park, and the park itself is actually owned by the Army Corps of Engineers, and Lake Ridge is actually a county road. So the force of this resolution is more ceremonial than it really is us authorizing anything. But they're doing this with all the jurisdictions in which one of their route designations enters, and they're asking us to at least acknowledge it. I would note that, especially in the township, and I think for the most part throughout all of these bicycle routes, we're not talking about something like the Loveland Trail where it's a designated bike route. I mean, there are portions of it that might be, but in many cases, these are things that already exist, and they're simply designating a path. So if you wanted to, for instance, ride a bike from Toledo to Cincinnati, this would be the path you should take where it would be most safe. And portions of it may go through parks and may be on, exclusive bike lanes. Other portions will be on, will be marked on the street, but you'll actually be traveling on a regular road. Street. So this isn't something where we're building something new or there's something new going to be added, at least as far as the portion that's in the township.
Thank you.
The only other thing I really have is the personnel update. In our fire department did accept the resignation of Tom Lennon. Tom was a part-time paramedic firefighter chief for 26 years.
Yes, actually 23.
20.
He served time with the volunteer organization prior to coming here in 1996.
But obviously a long-term, long member of our staff has retired, and we probably will talk about maybe recognizing Tom at one of our future meetings. But the effective date of his resignation was August 27th. Also accepted the resignation of Jason Williams, who's a part-time EMT firefighter. His effective date was August the 2nd. In our senior community center, Sonia Fall resigned as our building monitor. And we did add 2 new building monitors, Vicki Minich, effective August 24th, and Fallon DeGudis, effective August the 26th. Also, this time of the year where we've got all of our resignations on our summer labor returning back to college, Jason Ungenbuehler resigned as of effective August the 5th, Dylan Carl, August the 12th, Lauren Bass, August the 12th, Joe Durr, August the 19th, Michael Hartman, August the 19th, Taylor Bovey, August the 19th. And I'd ask him to bring us up to date what's going on with community events and programs.
Thank you. Arts Connect is hosting several events in October. On October the 14th, we have our next dinner theater event, which is a radio theater production of Dracula. On October the 15th, Arts Connect is involved in the Rusty Ball, which is a benefit event down at Duke Energy Center. And October the 28th, we are bringing Playhouse in the Park for a free production of Robin Hood. The children are invited to wear their Halloween costumes. We do this every year, and they go trick-or-treating with the characters of the play after the show. We are also gearing up for our big art show on November 11th and 12th, which will be held at Centennial Barn.
Thanks, Kim. And I know the board has copies of the departmental activity reports, so unless there's any questions, that's all I have, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Hennenkamp. Next, moving on to resolutions. The first resolution that we have this evening is Resolution Number 81, 2016, which is a supplemental appropriation within the State Law Enforcement Fines Fund and the Task Force Fund. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next resolution we have is Resolution Number 82, 2016, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 83, 2016, establishing assessment for abatement of nuisance and certifying the same to the Hamilton County Auditor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 84, 2016, as discussed by Mr. Hennenkamp, authorizing the development of U.S. Bicycle Route 25. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 85, 2016, a resolution authorizing Joseph Hunter Law, Chairman of the Board of Springfield Township Trustees, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission state capital improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 86, 2016, a resolution authorizing Joseph Hunter Law, Chairman of the Board of Springfield Township Trustees, to participate and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required.
So
Do we-
move.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
We need to be on rewind here or something.
But you've never said your name that often within a few minutes, have you?
Resolution Number 87, 2016, a resolution authorizing Joseph Hunter Law, Chairman of the Board of Springfield Township Trustees, to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 88, 2016, a resolution authorizing Joseph Hunter Law, Chairman of the Board of Springfield Township Trustees, to participate and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 89, 2016, authorizing the trade-in of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use motor vehicles, road machinery, equipment, or tools in the Service Department. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Seconded.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, under old business, do we have any old business before the board this evening?
I just have one, and I just would like to share with everyone in the audience and those who are watching. I was part of a Seven Hills project and initiative just right when school was starting, and the group out there provided book bags to students who were going to school, and there was a nice turnout. I think we provided, how many, Kim, about 100?
There was 100 book bags, Arts Connect provided those.
Arts Connect provided those, and so we had other sponsors. Did we have other sponsors?
We did, the Avenue.
Okay, the Avenue. And the other thing, too, is that the children there engaged in some really fun competition with, what do you call it, with the, when you throw the bag, what do you,
Cornhole?
cornhole. I can never think of that, cornhole. And they really gave our fire department some competition. They were out there, and they thought that they could, the kids thought that the fire department would whip them. Well, they got a little bit better than the fire department. So it was a fun day in spite of it being a little wet at times. So again, that township, that community is continuing to do great things. And so I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Gwen. Any new business before the board?
I don't know if it's old or new business, but I don't think we say it enough in our meetings, but I just wanted to let our chiefs and service manager know that as I travel through the township and run into, whether it be prosecutors complimenting our police officers on their professionalism, whether it be residents that we saved their life or their neighbor's life or whatever, or the everyday contact that some of the people have with our service department, I think we sometimes take for granted that the residents have contact with very little with us three and very much with you three. And on a regular basis, I have people come up to me out of the blue and just compliment all three of your departments. And I want you guys to know that we do appreciate it. We just probably don't say it enough.
Very good. Anything else? Just one brief thing. This past month, Mike Hennenkamp and I had a meeting with Laura Brunner, who is head of the Port Authority, and also the Port Authority runs the land bank. We had a discussion regarding some of the tools and opportunities they have to help develop properties within Springfield Township, really throughout the region. They're looking primarily for industrial properties, commercial properties that are not being utilized. And it was a very good meeting, I thought. They have some unique resources that local governments don't, or things that, they have contacts, and we're going to work together with them and see, as we move to the future, to find ways to take some of our properties and make them more productive. So I thought it was a good meeting. With that, then, we come to citizens' participation. If there's anyone here that would like to address the board this evening, we would ask that you come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we'll listen to what you have to say. Let's see, we got two coming here. What?
Always let Superman go first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rivers, 2068 Blue Hill Drive, Seven Hills. I just want to talk about no complaints or nothing. Just want to talk about Seven Hills for a minute. Everything's looking pretty good up in Seven Hills. We're making a very big improvement up there. I talked to a lot of the businesses about the litter that's going on, and they agreed to kind of work with me on it, like kind of help control it a little bit. I hired some students. Every Saturday we go out and we pick up trash, every Saturday morning for 2 hours, and trying to stay on top of the litter and the trash, which is really showing a big improvement. Mike, I talked to him. He's going to come and address our meeting in a couple of weeks about the wildflower program at Frost Park, and everybody's looking forward to that because we think it's going to be a pretty good thing. And let's see what else. It's really been improving. Everybody up at Seven Hills noticed the improvement up there. You know, we're getting a really good thing on the trash. The loitering has been cut down considerably. I talked to the property manager over on Birch Ridge about the loitering and hanging out over there, and they installed cameras and signs, so that's kind of curbed real good. The hanging out up at the Sunoco, and I talked to Sammy about that. Kind of goes by there, and I don't see him up there anymore, so I said that's been curbed pretty good. So overall, everything's looking good in Seven Hills. I thank you guys for working with us on it. The neighborhood is getting a lot better, and that's all I had to say, and thanks to everybody for helping us out up there. Thank you.
Joe, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Margaret Hayden, and I live at 6 Diplomat Drive in Wyoming. Before I say anything further, Mr. Hinnenkamp, I apologize on my copy of the letter that I sent to you that I had the wrong name. I don't know if I heard it wrong or wrote it wrong, but my apologies for that.
No problems. I've seen it spelled a lot worse. You were close.
I did send this letter to you as well as to the trustees, but I want to come here and make the statement myself, so I'm going to read my letter that I wrote to you. Dear Mr. Honor-Law, Ms. McFarland, and Mr. Burning, what a paradise you have in Water Preserve. Its wonderful environment provides people with peace, solace, and solitude. It is a refuge from the pressures and demands of daily living. Moreover, it is home to many wild animals and plants whose habitat has been taken from them everywhere in favor of constructing residential and shopping areas which abound, many languishing. Green spaces like water are unique and scarce. Losing one is devastating to this planet and all the creatures that live in it. Once gone, they can never be replaced, ever. The way people treat both animals and the environment says a great deal about them. Not developing water would speak volumes about you, the trustees of Springfield Township. It would demonstrate that you deliberately chose not to destroy nature and beauty in favor of financial profit, that you believe there are more precious things in life than money, and that you do not support a world whose soul has become money. It would also say that you recognize how immeasurably important it is for our current and future generations to have ecologically balanced, natural green space as part of the world in which we live. It would show that you do not want more of the same, like shopping areas, for the residents of your township. Keeping water wild would leave a lasting legacy reflecting values of highest integrity. But if water, as it now exists, is doomed to a death sentence that your hearts cannot commute, would you then consider selling acreage slated for development to individuals who wish to save it? What would the cost be per acre? Please let me know as soon as possible. In advance, thank you for your careful consideration to this matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Margaret.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening?
My name's Dennis Murphy. I'm resident of Springfield Township at 1037 Nahunta Court, and I saw the article on the Hilltop Press. It showed the condition of some roads, so I took some pictures of some potholes in my road that obviously need to be fixed before winter, and so I just wanted to drop it off. Is this Mike Gould over here?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening?
Well, it's hard to keep one's composure after Margaret's letter. I just want to thank Mr. Hinnenkamp for coming to address our Denier Street Association meeting. you've always been very accessible, and we deeply appreciate that. Kim Flam, we had a wonderful night watching the Jackie Robinson A Game Apart. That was so well organized, even the dressings on the table and everything, baseballs. We really enjoyed that. That was a very special asset to the community. Okay. Can anyone tell us where we are in terms of Nyer St. Francis? Do we have any updates? I mean,
Not
You
since your last
might go
You
speak
can-
better than
It's-
any of us, but nothing
No.
concrete.
I mean, in a word, no, but
Nothing specific. I mean, what the focus is right now is determining infrastructure cost and looking at sort of some of the major infrastructure that would be put in there, and just seeing what the options are for financing and alignment. That's kind of where we are at this point. And I think we'll be there probably for the next 3 to 5 weeks. When I say we, that's primarily the developer's role, but that's what they're going through that process to sort of ascertain the cost to put into major infrastructure.
okay, thank you.
before they can even offer it for somebody to buy so much an acre or whatever, they have to find out what their upfront costs are going to be,
Sure.
so they can figure out how many acres they have and how the cost would work.
Okay, I'll call Tom. Let's see, where are we? Let's take a walk, all of us, back there. I'm not sure how many people in this room have actually been to Warder. Why don't we just take a walk back there? We can arrange maybe a Saturday afternoon and kind of get an assessment of what's possible. I think we can do that. And Mike or Chris, I'll, contact you, and we can arrange something where we just take a stroll. It's about maybe a mile loop at the most. And just see where we're at. So that's a suggestion. Okay. My wife Jenny and I were recently at a preserve in Erie County Metro Parks called Osborne Park in Sandusky. And I know they have something similar on the Ohio River. You can walk down a path and play a musical instrument. They have xylophones, bongos, chimes. I mean, it's so inspirational to a child. We can do that. That's something we can do, and I think it's not a question of money. I mean, we can do it. Anyway, I'm going to throw that out. My father, Howard Walter Hughes, organized a 5K race around Finneytown High School. 250 people signed up for it. And I think they paid like $12 a head, so it more than paid for itself. We can do that around Warder. That's another option. There are all kind of ways that we can make the most out of what we have. It just takes a little creativity and reaching out. Where we are right now, I think, is regional involvement. This has obviously gone beyond just the township, and Mr. Honorlaw has made the point, I think quite correctly, that you have to think about the whole township. But why don't we think about the county, or for that matter, the region? For that matter, the planet. And people really respect that. And we're really reaching out to organizations like, Hillside Trust, that is very well respected, that want to get involved. So we can organize these people, and what we are, to make Warder, it's full potential. We can do that. That's what's happening right now. Let's see, and I think, are there any questions?
I have none.
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you for your time. To be continued.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening?
My name is Nathaniel Bryce. I live at 1337 Random Hill Road in the Lexington Heights area. After hearing some of the things and comments what some of the people have been saying, my problem, what I'm trying to see about getting information about, seems kind of petty. But what I'm concerned about, I went to the administration building once before, trying to deal with the Lexington Heights Community Association to get some other things addressed. I want to know, how do I go about stopping these people from coming in the neighborhood on Sunday morning and pitching out these door store ads at the end of the driveway? I don't want them. I stopped several people at different times that be riding by and pitching them out. I've been in the community close to 30 years. At one time, they used to ride by and they have an individual on both sides of the street walk up and put them by your door. Okay, I can use that. But when they ride by and they pitching them out and it's raining and any other kind of bad weather, I have no use for it. I'm personally not interested in it, and all I see people doing in the neighborhood is just kicking them out in the street. I'm tired of picking them up. I don't like to see individuals in the neighborhood run around, throw glass out, food what they've been eating and everything else, similar to what the young man talking about in Seven Hills. That's why they cleaning it up. The other day, I was out at the end of one of the intersections sweeping up glass from out the middle of the road where they running, driving by and pitching it out, sweeping it over to the curb to try to keep other people from having flat tires. I'm really concerned about the way the neighborhood is going down, and I'm going to continue to work with the association to see if that can be changed. But when I asked in the administration building about these people delivering these papers, they telling me ain't nothing can be did. They just simply pick them up and put them in their trash. Why should I have to keep picking up papers every week that I'm not concerned about, that I don't want, when somebody's paying them to put them papers or ads at the end of the street? Why do I have to keep picking it up? They told me that they don't have to have any kind of permit or anything to distribute these papers. Now, I don't understand that. It's littering. Now, what's necessary to get something done about it?
You can't, and I sympathize with
Laura Abram, she's our attorney.
Yeah,
I'd like them to stop too.
yeah.
I agree with you.
Many people
It's
would.
not just in Lexington Heights.
No, it's a commercial speech issue, and you can't keep, I mean, Cincinnati lost a lot of money several years ago because they tried to stop the boxes on the street corners. They want to get rid of those, and they lost. I believe they went all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and they said they have a right, it's commercial speech, and they have a right to put those pamphlets out. They have a right to distribute them. You can call them and tell them you don't want it on your property. Probably won't stop because they're not going to communicate that to the person who's delivering it. It's the same as with the local paper. You can't necessarily stop that either. So I feel your pain, but it's a commercial speech issue, and they have the right to distribute it.
Can I say something on that? We had the same problem with Seven Hills, and I got the phone number of the guy, and I had to stop. I had to stop the Seven Hills. It's been several different people that we delivered in the same area. I'm tired of standing out there in the morning, sitting on Sunday mornings, trying to figure out when they come to the neighborhood to ask them, don't deliver to me. I got some numbers for you. I appreciate it, because I got to stop them.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. He only delivers out there to people that want us.
They're wasting their
Thank
money
you.
because I
Yeah.
throw it in the garbage immediately.
And they can voluntarily stop it, but a government entity can't force
Yeah,
them
he's
to
pretty
stop it.
good working with it. He worked with me on it. We had the same problem. I told
Thank you, Mr. Bryce. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening? It appears that there is not.
I
Gwen?
have an announcement, and I was waiting to see if there was anyone here from the Finneytown Civic Association, and seeing that there is no one from the association, I was asked to make an announcement by the Finneytown Civic Association, and they just wanted to remind everyone that on September the 26th, which is a Monday, they will be having their Finneytown Civic Association membership meeting that starts at 7 p.m. and it's over at 9, and it's back at the senior building. And also, at that time, they're going to have Carrie No, she is the new superintendent at Finneytown High School. Please?
Go ahead, they're talking to each other.
Okay, Carrie No, she's the superintendent, and she's going to give an overview, her vision as well as the future what the role she's going to play working with the staff to move the Finneytown school system forward. And then also annually, the Finneytown Civic Association has a Meet the Candidates Night, and that's October the 16th, and that will be from 7 to 9 back at the Senior Center. And the individuals that will be participating in that are individuals running for the Hamilton County Commissioners, individuals running for sheriff, individuals running for the recorder position. And there is also going to be a woman from the League of Women Voters. And what she's going to do is just give a brief overview of the two levies that are county-wide levies. The first levy is the Greater Parks Levy, and then the second one is the Hamilton Tax Levy for Children's Services. So again, that's just FYI information if anyone would like to attend those meetings. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gwen.
Thank you.
Is there any other business before the board?
I have none. That's
Okay.
it.
Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening.